going to show you 5 tips on how to create better home video style movies. Remember those things back in the 80s and 90s whenever a kid had a birthday or there was an event going on or whatever? Yeah, those were the good days.
Good boy.
My name is Billy Busby, and I just shot my daughter-in-law's baby shower for my upcoming granddaughter, and that's kind of what inspired me to create this video. And that video is made for an audience of 1. The whole idea behind that was for my granddaughter to be able to look at that in the future and go, okay, hey, here's what my family was like right before I was born. And also had the knowledge that the audience might include family members that have knowledge of the video or whatever, just want to kind of keep up with everything. The point is, it's made for a family, right? Even if it does go on YouTube or wherever, it wasn't made for like social media and the wider consumption. So with that being said, I thought I would go over some tips on how to create these better videos.
Your dad is on my last nerve.
Me or Brandon? Tip number 1, you do not need any fancy gear. Casey Neistat said it best years ago. The best camera to use is the best camera you have access to at that time. If that camera is a phone or an iPad or a Sony a7S III or whatever, then use that. But if you don't have access to those things, it really doesn't matter. Use the one that you have. Tip number 2, you don't have to capture everything, right? Especially if you're a member of the family, you want to be present in those moments, right? You want to be there and experience those moments. Plus, the whole point of doing video should be to, yeah, document the event, but to capture that feeling of that event, right? You're trying to create memories. So for like my daughter-in-law's baby shower, I knew I didn't want to show her opening every single present, right? I don't want to watch that. You don't want to watch that. The baby probably doesn't want to watch that. But I wanted to capture the vibe. But that's not to say you don't capture some details of the event. Tip number 3, shoot in sequences. I'll use this video right here as an example. I started wide to establish where she was. Then I went in a little bit closer so you could just see a little bit more detail of what she was doing. And then I started to go in for those detailed shots. And then I worked my way back out pretty much the same way. And then with a phone, you could probably do all of that in one clip, right? Just remember to hold your shots for a few seconds each time you move. All right, tip number 4, zoom with your feet. This is something we teach our videographers at work too. You don't want to be always zooming with the camera. And especially if you're doing an event or something like this and you want it to look pretty good, zoom with your feet, right? Because when you zoom with your camera, you're not changing the angles or anything like that. You're just going from like a wide shot to a closer shot. And what typically happens, especially in like cell phone cameras and things like that, is it'll crop into that image and it just looks muddy, it looks terrible. Get closer with your feet. There's something that's magical that happens when you get close to somebody and you're using like the full capabilities of the sensors on the cameras. All right, tip number 5, show faces. I'm sure you have seen videos on social media or whatever, just like I've seen them, of those families that are on a hike and the dad's got like a great camera and he's following the family and all you see is the back of the family on a trail and the kids stumbling around or whatever. And that's fine. I'm not saying don't capture those moments, but it should be the exception rather than the rule. You should be trying to capture faces in the front of people as much as possible. It's going to make your video a lot better. Your family's going to be happier because they'll be able to easily identify, oh, hey, that's little Joey, you know, or whatever's going on. Show faces. Try to stay in the front.
Are you a good boy?
Bonus tip time, and this may be the most important tip of them all. Capture good audio. And what I'm trying to say is if there's a TV blaring loud and you're at a baby shower, you know, don't put your mic right next to the TV and then use that in your final edit. It's one thing if you're planning on cutting audio from the video and just using it kind of like B-roll. It's a whole other thing when you're trying to show us like, oh cool, look at my sister's baby shower and I'm hearing Joe Rogan on the left side of the mic, you know, screaming about a fight. It doesn't match up really well. So capture clean audio. If you need to talk to somebody or do something in that area, then either ask people to turn the volume down on that stuff, or if you got to, you're just gonna have to wait. It happens. Again, my name is Billy Busby. If you found any of these tips helpful at all, drop me a like, and I hope you go forth and create some great memories.